think she's in the back.
Oh, just coming, is she? Okay. Okay, good. Okay, welcome everyone to our second class on Nectar of Devotion. Let's begin. First of all, revision. Right? Who remembers? Who can explain Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu? What's the meaning? Yes, Prabhu? Easy for Indian-bodied people. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, explain.
Bhakti means devotion, rasa means mellow, mukta means which is not died, Sindhu means ocean.
Nectar. Amrita can be also nectar, as well as immortal. So, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, the ocean of the nectar of devotion. Right? And our experience of relishing eternal rasa in Krishna consciousness. Did you have some experience of relishing rasa in Krishna consciousness? Your new devotees didn't have much, not even initiated yet. Did you have any opportunity to relish eternal rasa? Maybe some of the Prabhus? No, taking prasadam eternally. Sorry.
While chanting, while doing kirtan.
Or during kirtan? Yeah.
Feel Krishna.
You feel ecstasy? You feel Krishna? Good. Okay. And then, what about the significance of Srila Rupa Goswami? Why is he significant? Let's come. Yes, it's conducted under the supervision of Srila Rupa Goswami. Why?
He understood the desire of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
So what happened?
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu imparted the knowledge of Krishna's Vrindavan pastimes and Radha Krishna's Leela to Rupa Goswami. Srila Rupa Goswami.
What was the comparison?
With Brahma, just like Krishna imparted knowledge to Brahma.
Okay, good. Yeah. Okay, so who is Srila Rupa Goswami in Radha Krishna Leela? Yes? Yes, right. And then Prabhupada's purpose in writing Nectar of Devotion, discussing their relevance. What was Prabhupada's purpose in discussing Nectar of Devotion? Why? He wants us all to be in Maya, right? Yes? Yes, Prabhu.
To love Krishna in different rasas.
Huh?
To love Krishna in different rasas.
To love Krishna in different rasas. Okay. To know Krishna in different modes.
Elevate one from material conditional life to spiritual status.
To bring us to the spiritual status. To bring us out of conditional life. Okay, good. Yes, to save us from the material energy. Okay, we'll go ahead. Definition of pure devotional service. So the last class we were only on the preface, now we're going into the introduction. If you're reading your book, I hope you're reading, keeping up, you have to read. And I'm only giving some highlights from the text. You have to read the text for yourself. So, the last class was on the preface, now we're going on to the introduction. We're going to speak about the definition of pure devotional service. Okay? And we'll speak also about the nature of the book, how Rupa Goswami wrote the book, the structure of the book. First of all, here's the Mangalacharana. The Mangalacharana, invoking auspiciousness. Mangala means auspicious, right? So invoking auspiciousness, the beginning of the book, is called the Mangala Charanam, and generally the custom is to write some verse or something glorifying the significance of the book. So, this is from the introduction. Lord Sri Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the cause of all causes and the reservoir of all rasas or relationships. Right? This is the significant position of Lord Sri Krishna. Akila Rasamrita Murti. Akila meaning all, and Ras Amrita, the perpetual relish taste, and Murti meaning the embodiment or the form. So all rasas are there in Krishna. That's the particular point which is being made. Within Lord Krishna, all the different rasas are there. If we look at Lord Vishnu is more limited to dasharas and a little bit of friendship, but much more dasharas. But with Krishna enjoys all kinds of rasas, right? Just like you have rasas, you have some ras with your friends, you have your girlfriends, then you have a different rasa with your boyfriends, and then you have a different rasa with your parents, and you have another rasa with your servants in your home. And so Krishna is like that. He has all these different rasas to enjoy, these different rasas, variety. And you find all, and that's only the primary rasas. There are the secondary rasas also. And so Krishna enjoys all of these different rasas. But for example, Lord Ramachandra, you only see Hanuman kneeling with his arms folded, waiting for service. Hanuman is servant of Lord Ram. He's waiting for the order to come. Very rarely did Lord Rama embrace him. Very rare. Because Lord Ram's the king. He has to, position of the king. People all come in honor, give respect, bow down before. So this is Lord Ramachandra. The rasas are limited, but with Krishna you get all the rasas. Right? Is that understood? And this particular rasa is Krishna in Vrindavan. In Vrindavan, more than Krishna in Mathura or Dwarka, you get the perfection of Krishna's ras in his pastimes in Vrindavan.
As devotees in this movement, should we all be striving for this rasa?
Well, yes, that's the top. If you want to go to the top, that's what you try to go to, yeah. Lord Chaitanya and his followers, generally, they were all in the mood of, Braja Bhakti, the mood of the gopis. There were some exceptions. There were some people who were also associates of Lord Chaitanya who were different. For example, Murari Gupta. Murari Gupta, he was Hanuman. So he wanted to worship Rama, Sita and Ram. But he was an associate of Lord Chaitanya, and he was a very dear friend of Lord Chaitanya, and Lord Chaitanya loved him very much. But he was a devotee of Lord Rama, more than Radha and Krishna. So Lord Chaitanya said, it's all right. He said, you are Hanuman. Hanuman cannot worship Radha and Krishna. When Krishna sends a message, Krishna wants to, you know, Garuda came and told Hanuman, Lord Krishna wants to see you in Dwarka. Hanuman just said, oh. And Hanuman didn't go. But then Lord Krishna told Garuda, don't tell him tell him Lord Ram wants to see him. So Garuda went back and said, Lord Ram wants to see you immediately. Immediately Hanuman went. Garuda said, I can take you on my back. He says, okay, I'll go myself. And Hanuman got there before Garuda. So Hanuman, he has that attraction for Lord Rama. He's not so much attracted to Radha and Krishna. So different people have different worshipable deities. But this nectar of devotion is highlighting particularly Lord Krishna and Lord Krishna in Vrindavan, which is the perfection of all Krishna's Leela. The reservoir of all rasas. You don't get the same rasas in Mathura or Dwarka, although it's Krishna. All right, somebody can read loudly. Prabhu.
So we can enjoy Krishna's loving service in so many ways, not only by the embrace of the gopis, but in the fight of Bhishma with Krishna and piercing his body with arrows. Therefore, Krishna is Akira Rasamrita. There are 12 rasas, either primary rasa or secondary rasa. Any rasa, Krishna is ready to respond. In any rasa, you want to be with Krishna. That is Krishna's position. Nectar of devotion, Vrindavan, nectar of service, 9 times.
All right, is this clear to everyone? Can you understand? We've talked about these things, nothing new. Someone else read?
And lo, I am the lowest of men and have no knowledge, hence fearsome to write transcendental literatures about devotional service has been mercifully bestowed upon me. Therefore, I am offering my obeisances at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who has given me the chance to write these books.
So this is a quotation from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Right? Srila Prabhupada is writing here like this. So this section is included in the Nectar of Devotion also. Offering obeisances, namaskara, namaskar, right? They say namaskar. Some people, they don't say Hare Krishna, they just say namaskar. It means they're offering obeisances. So this is the beginning of the book. Vande Chaitanya Devashya Tasya Hare Pada Kamalam Vande Chaitanya Devashya. I'm the lowest of men. The author, the person writing the book, does not think himself to be very qualified, describing his position. But he's been inspired by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to write these books. Personality of Godhead has given me a chance to write these books. So Krishna Das Kaviraj and Srila Prabhupada and Rupa Goswami, they are writing these books in this mood. This is the mood of the devotee. Can you people see over there okay? You can see here? Yeah? Okay, so mood of the devotee. We think of ourselves to be unqualified, very humble, and you're offering obeisances to the Supreme Lord. So, Mataji.
Obeisances on
Yes. This is from the introduction. Srila Prabhupada has written like this in his introduction to the Nectar of Devotion. He offers his obeisances to Rupa Goswami, and because we are also Rupanugas, right? We're following in the footsteps of Rupa Goswami. And he has to offer obeisances to his own guru, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada. Remember, what instruction did Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada give to our Bhaktivedanta Swami at the time of initiation? Huh? No, not at the time of initiation. Yes, he told him, you read the book Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. At that time there was no Nectar of Devotion. Prabhupada himself gave this title Nectar of Devotion because it's a summary study. But his guru told him, you read the book Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu by Rupa Goswami. So Prabhupada remembered that his guru wanted him to read this book and to study it carefully. And so, when he went to America, one of the first books he printed was this Nectar of Devotion. Practically, it was the first book he printed after he came to America. But that instruction to preach in English, that came just before he left the body. When Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati was leaving the world, Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada wrote to him and asked his Guru Maharaj, he said, you have so many sannyasis serving you. He said, what service can I do for you? So at that time his Guru wrote to him that you are good in English, so you can use English to preach. Okay? Mataji, go ahead. Alright, so two brothers, Rupa and Sanatan. Sanatan was the older brother. Remember I was telling you they were Mohammedans, they were Muslims. Actually they were born Brahmanas, but somehow they've been brought into the service of the Mohammedan government because they were very important in the Hindu society. So the Mohammedan ruler, he got the two of them to come and work for him. And he paid them a lot of money. They made a lot of money. Remember we said so much money they had? Fill a boat. So Sanatan was his elder brother, and describes here his spiritual master. Actually, sometimes they say Rupa Goswami was the spiritual master. But because Sanatan is senior by age, so Rupa Goswami is respecting him like his guru. Okay, so he prays that this book, Rupa Goswami prays that the book will please his brother. Yes, Mataji? So this is a nice example. Sharks. Who are the sharks in the ocean? The acharyas, right. They're like sharks. The sharks, they don't go in the river. Right? You get some sharks, they may come near to the shore, but they don't go in the river. So the sharks, they're in the great ocean. And what's the ocean? What's that ocean? Ocean. What's the ocean?
Ocean of nectar.
Ocean of nectar. What's the nectar? Huh? Yes, right, Bhakti. They're in the ocean of devotion. The ocean of devotion, Bhakti. And so, The sharks are in that ocean. They don't care for the rivers of liberation. Some people, holy men, they're thinking the goal is liberation, merging, like that. They talk about becoming one. There was a famous sadhu, his name, what was it? Anyway, it doesn't matter what his name was, but he wrote a book about Mayavadi philosophy, and it describes how all the rivers flow into the ocean and that everything becomes one. So we should also become one with the ocean. Right? So this is Mayavadi philosophy. So how are you going to defeat it? What do we say? What will we say? Somebody said, become one with the ocean. We should become one. Well, sometimes people say, why are you creating duality? But there is duality. Yes, what do you say? Prabhu.
Although you can become one with the ocean, like Prabhupada gave an example, like even though the river's water come into the ocean, but due to the heat of the sun, they again gets evaporated, again go back to the river. So this coming back and going is carried on. But once you become an aquatic of the ocean, then you can go deep into the ocean and you can keep your individuality.
Very good. Yes. Everyone understand this? You understand? Take the water from the sea, the clouds, take the water from the sea, and then they come on the land, and they pour the water onto the hill or the mountains, and then cross over the land. Where do the clouds get their water from? They take it from the sea, and they come and pour the water on the land. So you may go into the ocean, but then you come back on the land again. You come back in the form of water and pour onto the land. Huh?
Well, with this example, wouldn't that mean that it's not liberation?
Yeah, it's not actual liberation. Yes, you're right. It's not actually liberation. The liberation they speak about is called Sayujya Mukti, becoming one with merging. And for a devotee, we will never want that. We can never accept that kind of devotion, that kind of liberation rather, because there's no opportunity to do service for Krishna. If you become one, if you merge into the oneness, then there's no opportunity for devotional service. So that is hellish. That is never accepted by a devotee. We have to reject that kind of liberation. So actual liberation is to come to the transcendental platform and never fall back, never go back. So Prabhu gave the example, within the ocean there are so many aquatics, there are so many sharks and fish and so on, and they're swimming deep in the ocean. So these teachers, the great acharyas, they're compared to the sharks. They're swimming deep in the ocean. So we should keep our individuality, where we don't lose the individuality. We keep the individuality in the ocean of devotion. Okay? Something happened, computer jammed here. Not moving. You just click on the next one, the next slide.
This one?
No. See where the red is on the slide? That's where we are just now. See that slide in the middle? That's where we are. No. Move the cursor. Let me move the cursor. Yeah. Okay.
Mangalacharan.
Hmm?
Mangalacharan.
Okay. That's it right there. Okay. What did you do?
By this we have to go to that slide.
Hmm?
By this we have to go to the slide.
Okay. That's what I was using. I was using that. Go back.
Back.
Yeah, we didn't finish that. Why did you move it? It was at the right place.
This acceleration with the
No,
motor.
we read that. That's the beginning. Go ahead. Next one.
No. Go back.
Back?
Yeah, you have to go back.
Go back. That one.
This?
Oh, there's something about volcanic eruptions. Huh? I didn't finish the sentence.
Is that it?
Something wrong with this. Maybe I should use my computer. This computer's got problems.
No, it's okay. Like that? Yeah.
Something wrong with the slide.
Guess we could just read it like this.
Hide this.
No?
This is hide. Go to that hide slide.
Maybe you could go to the hide side. Oh, hide side.
There's an option called hide slide.
Yeah, that's there. That's where I'm going.
Option for what? Okay, 15 minutes. Come on, we gotta get going.
Yeah. Is this one?
Yeah.
Yes. Right. Okay. Come and read. Prabhu, go ahead.
Srila Rupa Goswami praised the spiritual master, Srila Sanatana Goswami, for the protection of Bhakti Rasuli Sindhu, the ocean of pure nectar of devotional service from the argumentative logicians who unnecessarily meddle in the science of service to the Lord. He compares their arguments and logic to volcanic eruptions in the midst of the ocean. In the midst of the ocean, volcanic eruptions can do very little harm, and similarly, those who are against devotional service to the Lord and who put forward many philosophical theses about the ultimate transcendental realization cannot disturb this great ocean of devotional service.
Okay. Straight from the introduction. Prabhupada is explaining, giving an example. Volcanic eruptions in the middle of the ocean. Sometimes you get a tsunami, right? That's how you get tsunamis sometimes, when there's a big volcano eruption in the middle of the sea. Anyway, Prabhupada is saying generally volcanic eruptions in the middle of the ocean cannot do too much harm. And who are they? What are these volcanic eruptions compared to? They're compared to what?
What philosophers
Huh? Speak up.
the philosophers the humans
Mayavadis, logicians, speculators, mental speculators, right? Mental speculators, unnecessary, these logicians, their arguments are just like eruptions, volcanic eruptions in the middle of the sea. They cannot do any harm. We don't get disturbed by them. They come along from time to time and they speak their philosophy, but in the course of time they're forgotten. They don't have any real great effect. Okay. Prabhu?
Actually, offering benedictions. The author of Bhakti Rasami Sindhu, Sri Rupa Goswami, very humbly submits that he is just trying to spread Krishna consciousness all over the world. Although he humbly thinks himself unfit for this work, that should be the attitude of all creatures of the Krishna consciousness movement, following in the footsteps of Srila Rupa Goswami. We should never think of ourselves as great creatures, but should always consider that we are simply instrumental to the previous acharyas, and simply by following in their footsteps, we may be able to do something for the benefit of suffering humanity.
So, Rupa Goswami thinks of himself as very insignificant. Who did Rupa Goswami get his knowledge from? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Yeah. And who did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu get knowledge from? Huh? Ishvara Puri. Well, oh yeah, he took Ishvara Puri as a spiritual master. But generally, we think of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as the Supreme Lord. He's the incarnation of Krishna. He's Krishna, not different from Krishna. We say Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nahiyanya. He's the combined form of Radha and Krishna. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is the Supreme Lord himself. He's omniscient. And he's also presenting the scriptures with Sadhu, Shastra and Guru. Right? So we have three authorities. We get knowledge from the holy man, from the Shastra and from the Guru. Three authorities, parallel tracks. So Rupa Goswami considers himself to be very insignificant. He's simply trying to serve the previous acharyas, following in the footsteps of the previous acharyas. And before Rupa Goswami, there were other devotees, there were other Vaishnavas, just like we heard. Lord Chaitanya took initiation from Ishvara Puri, and Ishvara Puri, he was a disciple of Madhavendra Puri, and Madhavendra Puri took initiation in the line of, which line? Madhvacharya, yeah, the line of the Madhva Sampradaya. So like that, there's a disciplic succession. And the Parampara, who is a Adi Guru in the Parampara? Huh? Lord Brahma is in the Adi Guru in our Sampradaya, yes. Who are the other Adi Gurus in the other Sampradayas? Other bona fide Sampradayas. We are in the Brahma Madhva Sampradaya. So, who?
In Sri Sampradaya, Lakshmi Devi is Adi Guru, and Rudra Sampradaya, Lord Shiva is Adi Guru, Kumara Sampradaya, 4 Kumaras are Adi Guru.
Yeah. Lakshmi, the four Kumaras, and Lord Shiva. Right? Lakshmi, that's Sri Vaishnavas. So you have Ramanuja Sampradaya, he's a prominent acharya. In the Brahma line, Madhva was a prominent acharya. And then Nimbarka Acharya is prominent in the four Kumaras. Nimbarka Acharya, called Nimbarka. They have their temples in Varsana, different places. And then Vishnu Swami is the prominent guru in the line from Lord Shiva. So these are the four sampradayas. So Rupa Goswami very humbly said, we're just trying to do something for the benefit of humanity, for the good of humanity, give them some knowledge. Yes? Who has not read yet? Read.
Verse 2 in translation.
Yeah, if you can read the verse, you can read. Go ahead.
Bhakti rastasya vastuti akila jagan mangala prasanasya agena agenapi mayasya priyate sudhibam pramodaya. I have continued this book on devotional service despite my ignorance, in order to bring joy to my friends and well-wishers, and to distribute Krishna auspicious association all over the world.
Alright. Rupa Goswami composed the verse describing his purpose in writing this book. Despite my ignorance, in order to bring joy to my friends and well-wishers, and to distribute Krishna's auspicious association all over the world. Of course, all over the world in those days, 500 years ago, Rupa Goswami could hardly imagine how it would go all over the world. But now it's going all over the world. I was telling you, Rupa Goswami wrote on palm leaves, little palm leaves etched into the leaf of the palm. There was no printing presses, no books, but he wanted, maybe he knew that in the future there will be printed, there will be paper, there will be books, there will be methods of distributing. So, great souls like Rupa Goswami, they can understand the future. So that's why they prepare these books. Yes, who's not read? Who's not read yet? Alright, so now describing about the structure of the book. So just like the ocean, there's north, south, east and west. So the same way, north, south, east and west is there in this nectar of devotion. We're going to hear about the different sections. Right? First of all, the first section is called the Purva Vibhag. This is the first 16 chapters. Is it 18 chapters? Is it? 19. Thank you. 19 chapters. Bhagavad Bhakti Veda, or Purva Vibhaga. So we're getting, this is like the introduction to the devotional service, to the science of devotion. We're going to be looking at these first 19 chapters in the course of the next 2 weeks. We have to complete these chapters. So this first section is concerned with introducing the topic, and then goes on. So that was the northern region. Then going over to the east, and you've got Dakshina Vibhag, chapters 20 to what? 34? Right?
Yes, Lord.
And then Bhakti, and then the southern section. This is all in your handbook. You have your student handbook. This map is all there in your student handbook. You don't need the copy. Then the southern region, Paschima Vibhag, chapters 35 to 44. And then finally, Uttara Vibhag, chapters 45 to 51. We're only looking at that first section, chapters 1 to 19. Of course, we also have the preface and the introduction included within that. The overview of the Purva Vibhag. Purva Vibhag, meaning this first section of the Nectar of Devotion, which we're going to look at. Student Handbook, page 50. I don't know, maybe it's different now, but it used to be page 50. Alright, Mataji, read. Thank you. Right? So, in the first part, general description of devotional service. We're going to look at that. The second part concerns regulative principles for executing devotional service. Regulative principles. We should know what to do and what not to do. Right? Did you get told like that when you go to the temple? Don't do that. Don't put that there. You know, sometimes you go to the temple and sometimes the devotees are a little sharp and they say, oh, don't touch that. Don't sit there. Don't do this. You know, and people get, they get a bit frightened sometimes. They think, I'm not coming back there. I'm not going to come there again. Too strict. Too many things. So, there are rules and regulations, regulative principles for devotional service. Prabhupada Rupa Goswami also says, rules and regulations come later. First thing is get people attracted to Krishna, get them attached to Krishna, and then gradually bring in the rules and regulations. And Prabhupada certainly did like that when he went to the West. He knew that young people there couldn't follow any rules and regulations. He said, if I was to tell you everything that you're supposed to do, he said, you'd never come to me. You'd never be interested. And so rules and regulations gradually are introduced. The main thing is to get people attached to Krishna. So the third way, devotional service in ecstasy. The technical name for devotional service in ecstasy is Bhava Bhakti, right? Bhava Bhakti. And the fourth stage, love of God, Prema Bhakti, right? So you have three stages of devotion. We have devotional service in practice. That is called sadhana bhakti. Right? The people ask you, how is your sadhana? How is your sadhana, Prabhu? Oh, I don't get up very early. I can't go to Mangal Aarti. Oh, I'm struggling, Prabhu. My sadhana is not very good. I'm weak in sadhana. Oh, don't worry about it. Just keep chanting. Gradually you can improve. Right? So sadhana, the practice of devotional service according to the rules, regulations. And then, second is devotional service in ecstasy. Who wants the ecstasy? You want to taste the ecstasy?
Yes.
Oh, you all want ecstasy, yeah. So, join the Sankirtan. No, you get ecstasy, first you have to do the practice. By practice, you go through the practice, then you come to ecstasy. You may get a little taste of ecstasy. You get a little taste of ecstasy in the beginning, just to attract. But if you want the real ecstasy, the real bhava, you have to go through the sadhana first, and then you come to the ecstasy. Just like you want to get prem, you have to go through the sadhana and the bhava, and then you come to prema. Love of God. Prema is the... Bhava is like one ray of love of God, but prema bhakti is like the full sun, all the rays of the sun. All the rays are there in prema bhakti. So, different levels. And bhava bhakti, prema bhakti, they're very high, very exalted. Right? We don't get bhava and prema so easily. We have to go through the preliminaries. So Rupa Goswami is going to write about these things in his book. Bhagavad Bhakti Veda, meaning varieties of devotional service. We don't hear this very often. You don't have to remember all of these terms. Laharis, meaning waves. Right? The waves. Within the first section, there are waves, just like we're speaking. We said the ocean is in four: north, south, east, west. So within each part of the ocean, there will be waves. You like the waves? You go surfing? No? You go surfing in the Ganga there? She's from Panihati, right on the bank of the Ganga. Right? You live where?
Near Kolkata Airport.
Oh, yeah, Panihati is near the airport.
Right.
Yeah, but beside the Ganga, right?
Yeah, Ganga is there.
Ganga's there. So big waves in the Ganga there?
Not too big.
Not much big, right? Yeah. Panihati, holy place. The place of Raghava Pandit. Anyway, laharis are the waves in the ocean of devotion. We are going to look at, Rupa Goswami has given some different waves in this section, because this is the first section. It's called Bhagavad Bhakti Veda, and we're going to hear about different waves. First of all, the general description. That's what we're doing just now, right? The general description, the introduction, and then the first chapter also is going to be on the general description. That's the first wave. And then the second wave is sadhana bhakti. We're going to hear about the practice, what we should be doing to practice sadhana, to practice bhakti. So that's described in chapter 2 down to chapter 16. So most of the course is about sadhana. And then 2 chapters on bhava bhakti, and then 1 chapter on prema bhakti. Right? So 4 waves in this part of the ocean. And you see the terms sadhana bhakti, bhava bhakti, prema bhakti. Right? So you want the bhava, and the bhava will take you to prema, but to get to bhava, you have to go through the sadhana, the practice. Okay? So we're going to look now, Rupa Goswami's definition of pure devotional service. Maybe this is one of your memorization verses. Did you memorize all your slokas from the Bhagavad Gita?
Yes.
Yeah? Did you? Shafam?
The verses we're supposed to memorize in
Okay, so here's a verse for you to practice memorizing. Let's chant it. I'll chant, you can repeat. Anya bilasita shunyam Jnana karma janavritam Anoko yena krishnano Shilanam bhaktir uttama. Actually, usually would say Anoko yena krishnano shilanam. The shilanam will go with the Anoko yena krishnano shilanam and then bhaktir uttamam. Anyabilasita shunyam Jnana karma janavritam Anoko yena krishnano shilanam bhaktir uttamam. Anyabilasita shunyam Jnana karma janavritam Anoko yena krishnano shilanam bhaktir uttamam. Okay, got it? Remember it? Who can say it? Memorized it? Yes? Many of the men, you see. You with me? Yes, go ahead, say. Okay, good. Yes, who else? No? Prabhu? That's right. It's a very famous verse because this is the definition of pure devotional service. So Rupa Goswami has given us the definition. This is how we're beginning. This book, Nectar of Devotion, is about pure devotion. Actually, it's about pure devotion. So we want to know what is pure devotion. Right? Krishna consciousness is about pure devotion. Right? We don't practice karmakandi rituals here in Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is not for Hatha Yoga, not for Jnana Yoga, it's for Bhakti Yoga. And we want to do pure devotion. It should be pure devotion. So what is pure devotion? Definition is here, described. Manaji, read. Right. The devotee must serve Krishna constantly as Krishna desires. He must constantly serve Krishna favorably as Krishna desires. So some important points there in the definition. Every word is very significant. We must serve Krishna, we must constantly serve Krishna favorably as Krishna desires. And then the first half, one must be devoid of all material desires, knowledge obtained by monistic philosophy. Monistic means monism, thinking we are God, it's all one. A monist, they think of one only. There's a place in India, they call it the Oneness University or something. The Oneness. People go to learn about the oneness. So monists, they all talk about the oneness. They say, why are you creating duality? We say God and the living entities, the duality. But they say, no, one, right? So we're not monists. Madhvacharya said, two, Atma, Paramatma. They say one, all one, only one. They say, I am that, you're that, we're all one. Tattvamasi, they like to say. But we say no, two. So monist philosophy, we don't have any monist philosophy. We want to get all that out of Krishna consciousness. And fruitive activity. Fruitive activity means we want to enjoy the fruit. We want to have the karma, the good karma. We want to enjoy material life. People are thinking like that. We want to enjoy the material world. So we can enjoy if Krishna wants, right? Krishna didn't say all the devotees have to be poor. Some of us may be poor, but doesn't mean it's not required. We don't have to go and live under a tree in order to be a pure devotee. Not necessary. There were some very rich devotees, right? You know any rich devotees? You know any rich devotees? In the past or even now? Yeah, Ambarish, quite rich, yeah. And know any other rich devotees?
George Harrison.
Huh?
George Harrison.
George Harrison, yeah. But he's not rich. No, he never made any money. No, he was rich before he renounced, right? He gave up everything. But there were others, yes? Huh? Huh? Sita Thakurani. Sita Thakurani. Who's she? Wife of Advaita. Why you say the wife? Why did you say why would she be rich? Sita Thakurani is rich? I never heard. Pundarik Vijayanidhi, he was a landholder, yes. Maharaj Prataparudra, yes. Right, there were some rich people. Ramananda, I don't know he was rich. I don't know. You go to, his house is there in Puri. It's just a humble house, not a great palace or anything. But yeah, he was engaged in the service of the king, but not so rich. Yeah, they were rich until they retired. They left everything. Huh?
Prahlad
Prahlad
Maharaj.
Maharaj? Prahlad Maharaj? No? Yeah, we had him. Ambirit. Yeah. Who? Was he rich? Huh? I don't think he was so rich. People wasn't so rich. He said he would go begging to get money to build the temple at the Yoga Peeth. In order to build the temple for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he said he was ready to go and beg a rupee from all the men in Calcutta. Okay, anyway, the point is there, you don't need to be wealthy. So we're going to look at this definition. First of all, we want to understand there are two characteristics, or two qualities, characteristics there within the definition. One is called the Swarupa Lakshana, which is essential in this description, and the other is called Tatastha Lakshana. Now I think all of these terms are all there in your handbook, you can write if you want. But there are two characteristics in the definition, Swarupa Lakshana and the Tatastha Lakshana. So Swarupa Lakshana is essential, it has to be there. That is it must be within that description of devotional self. Tatastha, marginal. It may be there, may not. Not so critical, right? So two characteristics are there within description of pure devotional service. We're going to give you an exercise in a little while, after the break. We'll give you an exercise and you have to tell us what are the characteristics, what is the main characteristic there in the job, in the work which they're doing. Is it Swarupa or is it Tatastha? Just like you have to be a vegetarian. Is that Tatastha? Yeah, have to be a vegetarian, right? Yeah. I go to Mangalati sometimes. Is that Tatastha? Yeah, I mean, we don't say you have to go to Mangalati. I mean, that's not a regulated principle. I mean, we try, and it's nice if you go, but we don't say, oh, you have to go. It's marginal. I chanted 16 rounds today. That's Swarupa, right? You have to chant 6. So if you're initiated, you're not initiated. Well, I'm not initiated yet, so I chant sometimes. Sometimes I chant 16 rounds. Okay. You're not initiated. You didn't make any vow. But you took initiation. It's a vow. You have to do it, right? It's a difference. Is that why you're not initiated yet? Okay, so Tatastha, these two qualities are there. Swarupa Lakshana. Remember the verse? Anya vilasita sunyam jnana karma janavritam anukoyena. Remember that word? Anukoyena? Krishnano shilanam. Right? So anukoyena Krishna Anushilanam, from the Sanskrit of the definition. These are the Swarupa, these are essential. Anukoyena Krishna Anushilanam. These are Swarupa Lakshana. And then Tatastha Lakshana. Anya Bilasita Shunyam Jnana Karma Janavritam. The first part of the verse. The first part of the verse, Anya Bilasita Shunyam Jnana Karma. Anya Bilasita Shunyam meaning no material desires. no desire for philosophical speculation, no desire for fruitive gain. So that is tatastha. Okay, I have some desires, all right, I mean, who can say I have no desires? If we had to say, you have to have no desires to be a devotee, how many devotees will we have? Who can say I have no desires? We all have desires. And we can say, yeah, material desires also, yeah. So this is tatastha. But anukoyena, Krishna anushilanam. We have to, that is something else. Serve Krishna favorably, constantly. Anukoyena, constantly. Krishna, pleasing for Krishna. And anushilanam. We'll look at this. Anukoyena, favorable. What is favorable? What is favorable for Krishna consciousness? Favorable. Going to Bollywood. There's a Bollywood movie on over there tonight. This devotee just came from Calcutta and he's brought this new movie from Bollywood. He's showing it tonight. You want to go and see? Will we go and see the Bollywood movie? Well, Prabhu, it's not very favorable for our Krishna consciousness. Right? So what is favorable? There's a cricket match. Oh, we have to go on to see it. So anukoyena means favorable, should be pleasing to Krishna. Performed with the intention to please Krishna. Right? Just like we say, you have to remember Krishna. Right? Always remember Krishna. Never forget him. Well, Kamsa did that. Kamsa always remembered Krishna. Kamsa never forgot him. So, was he doing anukoyena bhakti? No. What about Sishupal? How was his bhakti? Huh? Not favorable, right? They were remembering Krishna, thinking of Krishna, envy of Krishna, but not favorable, not pleasing to Krishna. Right? Krishna is pleased. Krishna is pleased when we wear devotee clothes, right? We come, the hair all hanging down, and in our jeans, we come in the jeans and the hair's all hanging everywhere. Hare Krishna. Yeah. Is it pleasing to Krishna? Well, they're chanting Hare Krishna. Yes, but Mataji, please, The hair, the dress, there's other things. It's not just only chanting Hare Krishna. So, must be pleasing to Krishna. And the intention should be there to please. Well, I wanted to please Krishna. Krishna doesn't like to see my hair. I've got beautiful hair. So there are standards anyway, pleasing to Krishna. Then Krishna. We should understand Krishna to mean Krishna and his personal expansions. Sri Krishna includes all such expansions, as well as his pure devotees. So, that means you can worship Krishna, you can do bhakti for Krishna, you can do bhakti for your guru, you can do bhakti for Prabhupada, you can do bhakti for the acharyas, you can do bhakti for the devotees, the pure devotees. Right? So not only Krishna, Rama, Narayan, Narasimha, Varaha, the different forms of the Lord. Is it only Krishna bhakti? Oh, okay, Varaha Bhakti, Nrsinga Bhakti, Vamana Bhakti. You can have Bhakti for all the different forms of the Lord. Right? So these are all, when we say Krishna, it includes all of Krishna's expansions and his incarnations and his devotees also. Anu, Shilanam. Anu meaning following. Anuradha. Following Radha. Shilanam, cultivation, activity. So constantly doing activity. Devotional service is about activity. There should be some activities. What are you doing for Krishna? Oh, I'm simply here thinking of Krishna. What are you doing? Right? There should be anushilanam. There should be some activities there for the pleasure of Krishna. We're studying Bhakti Sastri. Oh, very good. Very nice. Pleasing to Krishna. So, constantly engaged in activity or following, doing the work, the things for Krishna's pleasure. The particular word used by Rupa Goswami in this connection is anushilana, or cultivation by following the predecessor acharyas. As soon as we say cultivation, we must refer to activity. Without activity, consciousness alone cannot help us. Right? Consciousness. You could say, I'm conscious of Krishna. What are you doing for Krishna? I'm conscious of Krishna. There has to be some activity. Do something for Krishna. Prabhupada wanted to know, how many books have you distributed? How many temples have you opened? How many devotees have you made? New devotees. And Prabhupada wanted to know, what activities are we doing? Yeah? So this is all understood by this definition given by Rupa Goswami. Remember, Anukuyena means favorable. Krishna means all of his expansions and everyone in relation who's pure devotees. And then Anushilanam means engaging in some activity. The word anu suggests that one should engage himself in the service of the Lord without any interval. Right? We're having an interval. Right? Our interval is also for the service of Krishna. He must be engaged in the service cent% and always. There must not be any interruptions in such progress of devotional service. Means no days off. Well, today I follow 4 principles, but for the weekend I'm going for a party with my friends. We're going away and, we may do some things and eat something, drink something. Anyway, couple of days, just take 2 days off. Is that all right? No. Devotional service means every day. When we take initiation, we vow to follow 4 principles. How many days a week? Huh? She's laughing. Very serious. Have to follow every day. How many days going to chant 16 rounds? Yes, every day. Right. Every day. For how long? for life, right? Whole life. Right? Yeah. Why not? Whole life. One lady got initiation, she bought very beautiful beads. I said, wow, it must have been quite expensive beads. He said, anyway, they're for my whole life, you know. I thought that was very nice consciousness. She wanted to have good beads because she said, this is for my whole life, I'm going to channel them. We should think like that. When we get initiation, this is for my whole life. Okay? So, devotional activities. There are two kinds. There's the positive and there's the then the nivriti, the negative. Can you understand? I'll go back. Pavriti means the things you have to do. What you have to do? You have to chant. Right? You have to chant. You have to worship Krishna. You have to read the books about Krishna. You have to do these things. You have to associate with devotees. Nivriti means things you don't do. Right? What things do we not do? Yeah, no meat. And what else? No illicit sex, no intoxication, no gambling. Yeah, right. So, there are things to do, things not to do. And these activities are performed body, mind and words. So sometimes you do activity with the body, sometimes you do activity with the words, speaking, and sometimes the activities in the mind. You may be thinking, how I'm going to serve Krishna, how I'm going to study, how I'm going to chant, how I'm going to tell my friends about Krishna. You think about it, how to do it, how to make it nice and how to make it attractive to them. Like your parents are not devotees, so you think about it, how to deal with my parents so that they don't stop my devotional service. And so you think like that, they're thinking in the mind, that activity, that is also devotional service. Maharaj Ambarish, the great devotee, very first thing he did, Savaimana Krishna Parar, right? Fix his mind on the lotus feet of Krishna. So, use the mind also, mind is activity. And nivriti, use the mind, don't think about Maya. Don't think about sense gratification. Don't think that, oh, I'm a devotee now, oh, I can't go to cinema, oh, I can't go to party, I can't take cigarettes, I can't drink beer. Oh. Some people, they feel bad, they lament, oh, before I used to do all those things, now I can't do them anymore. Oh. Lucky you can't do them anymore. Lucky to get away from them. Okay, so devotional activities, there's pavriti and nivriti. Prabhupada explains, if he's not continuously engaged in the cultivation of devotional service, it can't be called Uttama Bhakti. Uttama Bhakti means the highest devotion. It's not pure devotional service. Someone might come into the temple, right? Well, this is an example. Somebody comes into the temple and the deity might inspire him, and he might put some money in the box just to please the deity. Or he might want to sing a bhajan just to please the deity. And then he goes out. He goes out of the temple and then he does everything else. It means he goes out of the temple, where's my cigarettes? He lights a cigarette. He just goes back into Maya. He went to the temple. He put some money in the box, or he chanted Hare Krishna, and he's very happy, maybe even offered obeisances. So does that mean he's a pure devotee? No, because, why not?
It's not substantial.
Right, his service is not constant. He goes outside, does everything else. Okay? So that's not pure devotional service. It has to be systematic cultivation. Right? Okay, we'll stop here. We'll just have a break for 5 minutes to chant Gayatri. Then we will continue. Okay, let's begin. Swarupa Lakshana, remember what's the meaning? Swarupa? Essential, right. Means it has to be there all the time. So, first thing is, Krishna should get pleasure from it. Second thing, devotees' attitude towards Krishna should be favorable. So we said Kamsa, Shishupal, they didn't have a pleasing attitude to Krishna, so not favorable. So the right attitude should be there. You do devotional service. We want to please Krishna. Not that, oh, I have to do the arti, they ask me to do, I have to go in and do arti. Is that devotional service? I have to cook. Why they ask me to cook today? Why I have to cook the offering? They always come to me when they want someone to cook. Yes? Is that devotional service? You go in the kitchen like that? Grudgingly. It's not good. It's not devotion. So Anukulyena should be favorable. Then Krishna. Krishna and various expansions. Krishna's paraphernalia. Krishna's abode. Mayapur. The holy Dham. And Krishna's pure devotees. Krishna's paraphernalia. Prabhupada would always tell us, don't put the mridanga on the floor. The holy drum. Alright? You have to respect mridanga. You don't put the kartals on the floor. Don't put the books on the floor. Alright? It's not respecting. So Krishna's paraphernalia. And then Anushilanam, constant activity, following predecessor acharyas. Tatastha Lakshanam, Anya Bilasita Sunyam. Anya meaning other. Abhilas meaning desires. Ta, motive. And shunyam, zero. Shunyavadi, right? Shunya. Make everything zero. So, Anya Bilasita Sunyam means devoid of all material desires. That's what you want. To be without material desires. Of course, this is Tatastha Lakshana. Tatastha Lakshana means what kind of characteristic? Might be there, might not. Jnana karma dhyanavritam. Jnana meaning knowledge, karma. Jnana meaning impersonal philosophy. And karma meaning fruitive activity. To enjoy the results. And adi, etc. All of these other things, other paths. Like, for example, artificial detachment. Artificial detachment. An example, artificial detachment. What would be an artificial detachment? Yes?
People sometimes practice silent meditation.
Okay, yeah. Monavrat, make a vow of silence. Yes. Go to the mountains. I will not see any beautiful women. I will go to mountains. Right. Like that. Mystic yoga. Astrology. Astrology is Anavritam, not covered. So we shouldn't be depending on these things. Prabhu, read. Who's turn? Read.
Tatastha Lakshana, Anavritam, uncovered by mental speculation or futile activities. Karma Kanda, Jnana Karmadi Anavritam, not covered. If you mix up karma with bhakti, if you mix up jnana with bhakti, or if you mix up yoga, it is contaminated. It is not pure. Pure devotional service is given by universal.
Right, we're preaching this nectar of devotion is all about pure devotion. So we want to understand what is not pure. And what is not pure? When you mix in these other things. If you mix in the karma kandi, the jnana kandi, and the mystic yoga, and all of these other things, then takes away the purity of bhakti. Karma kandi. There's a lot of karma kandi practice goes on. You know, you heard about karma kanda in the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna told Arjuna, you can go to higher planets. Go to a higher planet. Some people they worship the Navagriha. You know that? In the temple they have these 9 deities and they worship them and they want to go to the heavenly planets. And they want some, material desires. And so they bring in karma kandi. So we keep that out in bhakti. This devotional service, nectar of devotion, is about pure bhakti. Pure bhakti. None of these other things. None of this karma and jnana, meaning monistic philosophy or the Mayavadi, impersonal philosophy. Keep reading.
Anyabilashita Shunyam, no desire for futile activities or philosophical speculation or yogic mystic, no. Simply how to satisfy Krishna, that is bhakti. Anukulyena means what is favorable. What Krishna desires, that is first class bhakti.
Right. No mystic yoga magic. You know the yogis to do the magic? Produce the gold. Right? Sai Baba used to do the gold. Produce magic tricks, mystic yoga. So it attracts people. So none of these things. We're not interested in yoga powers, mystic yoga power. They would ask Prabhupada, they wanted to see Prabhupada's mystic power. So what did Prabhupada do? When they asked Prabhupada, can you show us some mystic power? We want to see your yoga powers. So what did Prabhupada do? Huh? Okay. Yeah. Prabhupada made, he said, see all these people, all these disciples of mine, he said, they were all very fallen people. They had many bad habits. Now they've all become saintly. They're very strictly following 4 principles and they're chanting. He said, I changed them. So that is my mystic power. And the yogi said, I can walk on water. And Prabhupada said, I can go in the boat. Just only costs 2 rupees. You spent so many lifetimes to get the power to walk on water, and for 2 rupees I can go across in the boat. What's the value of your yoga? Right? Just roll up, walk on the water. That's not the goal. The goal! Is this on?
Yes.
Huh? Haribol, is this on? Is it? Oh. I didn't know it was on. Okay, first class bhakti. First class bhakti means pure bhakti, without devotion, without any of this karma and jnana and yoga powers, yoga siddhis. Yes? Prabhu, read.
In the verse, the phrase Anyabilas Sikyam has not been used. Instead, the phrase Anyabilasikya has been chosen. This means devoid of other desires which are as deep-rooted as one's nature. In death-threatening situations, a devotee may say, "Oh Lord, please save me, your devotee, now from this danger." Because it is a sudden, temporary desire, it is not harmful to his bhakti. That is because his desire arrives beyond his control, opposite of his devotional nature. That desire is not his nature.
So, here, Prabhupada or Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is explaining to us here about how Rupa Goswami wrote this definition, how he constructed this definition to include all different situations. You see, he mentions first of all, Anya Bilasa Sunyam. So it's not Anya Bilasa Sunyam, it's Anya Bilasita Sunyam. So why did he put that sita on the end? Because that changes it. Anya Bilasa Sunyam means no material desires. But Anya Bilasita Sunyam means no desires which are against devotional service. And they give the example, like you may be in a life-threatening situation. You're in a very dangerous situation. The boat's sinking. Oh, Krishna, save me. Oh, Krishna, save me. You pray to Krishna. Is that devotional service? Is that against pure devotion? Huh? It's allowed. It's allowed. If we're in a very dangerous situation, somebody comes in with a gun, I'm going to shoot all of you. Oh, Krishna. If we pray to Krishna, it's not wrong. It's good. Pray to Krishna, we're in a danger, but we don't do it every day. If you do it every day, then that's not really genuine. But if it's a very special situation where you're really in a danger, a lot of trouble, and you pray to Krishna to help you, then that's allowed. That's not against pure devotion. So this is the point which is being made there. Yeah?
But we can pray every day to Nrsimhadev to protect us.
Yeah, we pray to Lord Nrsimhadev, but that's it. You don't have to pray just simply for protection. The Lord is naturally going to protect His devotees. We can pray to Lord Nrsimhadev with devotion. Why you have to pray for protection every day? You think Krishna is not going to protect you?
I'm sorry, there is a pastime that the devotees asked to Prabhupada, Prabhupada, can you fall down? Then Prabhupada said no. Then in another day, Prabhupada is in front of the deity and very deep. And the devotees asked to Prabhupada, what happened, Prabhupada? Then Prabhupada said, I am asking to not fall down.
That's Prabhupada teaching us. He's teaching us that we should do like that. He wants us to learn. So he says like that for us. Not just for himself, but he's teaching us. Because he knows we can fall down anytime.
So we must do it.
What?
Pray to not fall down.
You can pray to not fall down, but higher than that is the mood of the pure devotee. Like Prahlad Maharaj, he doesn't pray to Krishna to protect him. Prahlad Maharaj is not worrying about, oh Krishna, don't let him kill me, don't let him. No, Prahlad is just remembering Krishna. Of course, he's a very special devotee. But that's the highest level of devotion, that simply surrendered to Krishna. If Krishna wants to kill someone, nobody can save him. And if Krishna wants someone to live, nobody can kill him. So the mood of pure devotion, mentioned here, it's mentioned here, what did you say? In death-threatening situations, a devotee may say, "O Lord, please save me, your devotee, now from the danger." Because it is a sudden, temporary desire. So in other words, very special situation. We pray to Lord Nrsingadev every day. Prabhupada gave us that prayer. He said, this will protect our movement and protect the devotees. So we just pray to Lord Nrsingadev. Yeah, we're praying to Lord Nrsingadev. And it's not that we're in any particular danger, but here the situation, devotee's in a particular dangerous position. So he's appealing to Krishna to save me. It's a very special situation. Temporary. Not every day. But of course, every day you can, please protect me, I won't fall down, like that. Yeah. It could be understood in a different way. Please just keep me in Krishna consciousness. The devotees always surrendered to Krishna. Whatever happens is Krishna's arrangement. So let me just hope that I can remember Krishna. So this is a principle of pure devotion anyway. If we come in distress, just like Gajendra, he was in distress, he prayed to the Lord to save him, that was not pure devotion. That was mixed devotion. Because the Lord came to save him. Later, when the Lord came, then he became pure devotee. But the initial prayer was to save him from the danger. So Gajendra was mixed devotion. So mentioned here, a sudden temporary desire, it is not harmful to his bhakti. That is because this desire arises beyond his control. So there's another point, a desire beyond his control. Very sudden, you're just in that danger and just naturally you pray to Krishna to save you. But if you do it every day, then it's your own prayer, your own meditation. It's not quite pure bhakti.
So even if it's regard spiritual danger like Vaishnava Parada, please protect me, Vaishnava. If you are asking for spiritual protection, that I have a lot of fear of Vaishnava Parada because of the modes. Sometimes we say something to a devotee because the modes, so we have a lot of fear about Vaishnava Parada. Then if you pray every day, please protect me.
Protect you from your offenses. We should want to give up the offenses. Krishna is not just there to clean up the garbage. We make offenses, we want Krishna to come and protect us.
No protecting the reaction, protecting the office in itself. Not protection for the reaction of the office, but protection that we can do not do the...
Or that you don't do the offense. Okay, yeah. Okay. So help me to give up that offensive mentality. Praying to remove your offensive mentality. That's allowed, yeah. It's a little different. Okay. So the desire arises beyond his control, opposite of his devotional nature. That desire is not his nature. So that desire is not his nature, that desire to be protected. So he was still trying, nature was to serve Krishna, but he was in a dangerous situation. So he calls out to Krishna to save him. It was not his intention, but it happened like that. Oh. Therefore, superficial desire or desires for self-preservation do not exclude one from pure devotional service. And thus, pure devotional service can be executed in the stage of sadhana bhakti. So, the desire for self-preservation, as I said, you're in a very dangerous situation and you call out to, "Oh Lord, save me." That's still pure devotion. But if every day you make a habit that every day I go in front of Lord Nrsingadev and I pray, "Lord Nrsingadev, please protect me," that's a little different. That's not exactly pure devotion. Our prayer is, "Please engage me in your service." Of course, Lord Chaitanya was saying, "Krishna, Krishna, Rakshama," protect me, save me. Krishna, Krishna, Pahiman, Krishna, Krishna, Rakshama, protect me. So, Lord Chaitanya was teaching us anyway to chant the holy name, to remember Krishna. Certainly, you go through the forest, Jarakanda, many wild animals, Krishna, Krishna, just chant the name of Krishna. The tiger comes, Hare Krishna, right? Just chant the holy name. So, do we pray to Krishna? Life-threatening situation. Yeah, we do. We should pray to Krishna in the life. What is the life-threatening situation? Not that every day we pray to Krishna to protect us. Krishna will naturally take care of his devotees. We don't have to remind Krishna, "Take care of me." You know, it's kind of like the begging thing. You go to God, I love you, where's the money? Give me the money. You know, the mood has to be right. We are Krishna's servants. We come to give service to Krishna. But your mood is more to take. Protect me. Take care of me. Look after me. Alright? So what is pure devotion? So special situations and dangerous situations. Right? So tatastha lakshana. Do the unwanted desires that linger in the heart disqualify devotees from practicing pure devotional service? The unwanted desires. Like I said, we have a lot of desires in the heart. Can we still do devotional service? Yes, right, we can, yeah. Read.
By my previous shameful life, my heart is polluted with many illusory attachments. Personally, I have no power to stop them. Only Lord Krishna within my heart can remove such inauspicious contamination. But whether the Lord removes such attachments immediately or lets me go on being afflicted by them, I will never give up my devotional service to Him. Even if the Lord places millions of obstacles in my path, and even if because of my offenses I go to hell, I will never for a moment stop serving Lord Krishna. I am not interested in mental speculation or sportive activities. Even if Lord Rama personally comes before me offering such engagements, I will not be even slightly interested. Although I am attached to material things, I can see very clearly that they lead to no good because they simply give me trouble and disturb my devotional service to the Lord. Therefore, I sincerely repent my foolish attachments to so many material things, and I am patiently awaiting Lord Krishna's mercy. Commentary on the Srimad Bhagavatam.
So this is the mood of the devotee. We're waiting Lord Krishna's mercy that one day we'll get rid of these material desires from the heart. And we'll continue to go on serving. Karma Janavritam. Yes, Prabhu, read.
One devotee in Bombay asked Prabhupada, should a devotee save a drowning man if he can, or should we just say that it is materialistic activity and we are only interested in serving Krishna? So we should not interfere with his karma and we should let him die. Prabhupada replied that in principle he should not save him, because actually we have no business interfering with people's actions and reactions. Then Prabhupada said that there's another consideration called loka vichar or public sentiment. A devotee may do something which is not strictly included in the category of devotional service out of consideration for public sentiment, so that the people don't become hostile to the devotees, and that make it harder for the devotees to preach. But if we think that if I don't do some material pious activities, then I cannot achieve bhakti, or some bad will come to me, that is against the principles of pure devotional service. Viraj Swami, V.I.S. mentioned,
So, one time in Australia, there was a fire in a building, and the people were on the roof, and they couldn't get out of the building because the whole building was on fire. So some devotees were nearby, and they came running and they brought sheets, and they held out the sheets, and they got the people to jump down from the top of the building into the sheets, and they caught them in the sheets. So it came in the newspaper how the Hare Krishna devotees had saved these people. And Prabhupada said, very good. It's very good. Very good publicity. People are appreciating Hare Krishna. If you let them die, yeah, you could say, oh, they're meat eaters, karmis, forget it, let them die, let them drown, and let them burn. But if you save them, you get some good opinion. People think, Hare Krishna people, very good. Just like, COVID, people, some devotees are giving out food, they're giving out prasadam, because a lot of people have no jobs, no money, and many people, the economy is affected. And so do we have a duty to people to just go and welfare work? No, it's not really our job. We're not a social welfare institution. We're a spiritual society. But for the sake of public opinion, that people will appreciate that, oh, Hare Krishna, they're doing very nice work. The respect. It's not really our duty, but we do it to get good opinion, get good public support. Right? If there's an earthquake or some disaster, we may go and bring food and give relief. And it can help. It can impress people. You get people. I was in Thailand when there was a tsunami. They had a tsunami in, it was 2002, I think, or something like that, 2002 or about then. And there was a tsunami, a very big tsunami, and many people died. And so down in Phuket, there'd been a lot of damage and people were homeless. So I went there, and some devotees came also from Malaysia, and we distributed food there. And there was a Hindu temple there, and we went there and we started to give programs. And we got some people to become devotees. And they became devotees, and they made their own center there in Phuket, and we have a temple there now. And so it came about because we went to go to the tsunami to distribute food, to do food for life, or food for all. But it's an opportunity for preaching. Okay. Swarupa Lakshana. Anu ko yena Krishna no shilanam tatasta lakshana anya bilasita sunyam yana kadmajana vrita. Yes, who is not read?
This definition of bhakti is in essence no different from the definition given in Srimad Bhagavatam 3.29, 11 to 14. And the Narad Panchrat and Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 19.170, but its preciseness clarifies lingering misconceptions about devotional service. Moreover, the specific term Sri chose Uttam Bhakti distinguished Lord Chaitanya's movement from the cheating religions that had popularized many different forms of devotion.
Yes, there are many cheating religions. They talk about devotion, but it's not really genuine devotion. So we have to know what is genuine.
Thakur Bhakti Vinoda comments that just as a person says to a friend, "Here is some cool water," to distinguish his offering from contaminated water, so Rupa Goswami welcomes his reader with the words first-class devotion to distinguish it from any type of rich devotion. What Rupa Goswami calls first-class Uttama is also referred to in the scriptures as exclusive, Keval, unalloyed, Ananya, uncanted, Akinchan, and pure Siddha.
So somebody says, "Here, have a glass of water." You say, "Is this drinking water?" Right? And so some say, "Hey, let's do some bhakti." So we can ask them, "Is this going to be pure bhakti?" Right? Definition of pure devotional service. Another verse. Sarvapadi vinirmuktam tatparadvena nirmalam rishikena rishikesha sevanam bhaktiruchyate. Bhakti or devotional service means engaging all the senses in the service of the Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Master of all the senses. When the spirit soul renders service unto the Supreme, there are two side effects. One is freed from all material designations, and one's senses are purified simply by being employed in the service of the Lord. So this is another definition of pure devotional service. You may like to remember that also. Two side effects. Upadi, sarvupadi vinirmuktam. Upadi, designations. Designations, sannyasi, grihasta, these designations. So we give up these designations. Pure devotional service means to give up that. Lord Chaitanya said, "I am not sannyasi, brahmachari, grihasta, whatever. I am simply servant of the servant of the gopas."
But this freedom from material designations and the purification of the senses, it's only temporary, right? Because I found that when I find some service to do and I find these benefits, the next day I feel like I'm contaminated all over again.
Well, that's because your purification was not complete. You see, you have to purify yourself completely. You haven't removed the roots. You haven't got the roots out. The root of material desires are still there. So you have to fully remove them. And then you get the full benefit. Then it's complete. Tat paradvena ana sarvapadivan nirmuktam tat paradvena nirmalam. Or comparing the different verses to the two verses, right? So we're comparing these two verses. Anukulena sarvapadi vinirmuktam tat paratvena nirmalam rishikena sevanam bhaktiriti. And anukulyasya sankalpa pratikulyasya anyabilasita sunyam jnana karma janavritam anukulyena krishnanushilanam bhaktir uttamam. So the two verses are compared. The superior nature of this bhakti, uttama advam, is understood by its very nature and thus is not stated in words. So that bhakti is superior, it's not mentioned it, but it's understood. Yes, Maraji? Prabhu. Okay.
Comparison.
Huh?
How it is compared?
How?
Why they are compared with words?
They're both describing pure bhakti. Both the verses, the two verses. Sarvapadi vinirmuktam is like the anyabilasita sunyam. Tat paratvena is like the anukulyena. Sevanam is like anushilanam. Nirmalam, jnana karma janavritam. Just comparing the terms in the two different verses to show that both verses are complete definitions of pure devotion. But he didn't mention like anyabilasita sunyam jnana karma janavritam anukulyena krishnanushilanam bhaktir uttamam. There's no bhaktir uttamam in the other verse. It's there in that verse, but it's not. So he said, we didn't mention it because it's understood. It's understood that it's bhaktir uttamam. It's the superior nature of bhakti. That bhakti is superior. All right? Go ahead.
So Krishna is reflected of the senses and which touches everything of the master without the permission of the master. And therefore the devotee is punished for the Lord before engaging any of the senses. And the permission may come through the devotees or through the scripture or through the spiritual master.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, keep reading.
But Srila Prabhupada said that good devotee does not engage any of the senses without first taking permission of the Lord. And once Srila Prabhupada told my disciple, you don't move this pen from this place on the table to this place on the table without my permission. So this is Bhakti.
Understand? Prabhupada said, you don't move the pen without my permission. So whatever we do, we get permission. If Krishna gives me permission, I will go there. If Krishna allows, we will do this. We would always, sometimes Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, not sometimes, all the time, we would say, if Krishna allows us, we're coming there. If Krishna allows, we're going to do this. If Krishna allows, we will build the temple. If Krishna allows, we will have Harinam Sankirtan. So we have to take permission from Krishna. This is the point. Krishna is the proprietor, everything belongs to him. We should take his permission. Permission to do service. All right, now, Yagna. Let me see, 1, 2. Well, we want 4 groups. We have 4 groups, so maybe the ladies will be one group, and then we want 3 groups from the men. Okay, so 2 brahmacharis will be one group, and then Momo and Prabhu here, one group, and Prabhu. That 1, 2, 3, 4. You 3 ladies can be together. So give one sheet, one. Oh, they're here already.
One should teach.
Yeah, make sure they get each in the group get the right questions, right?
Different questions.
Yeah, the different questions. Look. Make sure you've all got the same.
How to understand whether Krishna is allowing us or not to do something?
Krishna is not allowing you to do something.
In the previous verse, we read that we can only do things to Krishna's permission.
Yeah.
And how to understand that is he allowing us to do something else? Or is he restricting us?
Well, we ask Krishna first of all if we can do it. That Krishna, we want to go to, like somebody may want to go to Vrindavan, want to go to Vrindavan for Karti, right? And so, take permission from Krishna, and then we go and we try to go. And if you don't go, then Krishna didn't want you to go. Krishna changed his mind. You asked Krishna if you could go, but Krishna decided better you don't go. Alright, so the people in each group should have the same questions, and there are different questions in each group. Right? You have to answer these questions. And you have to refer, what is Swarupa and Tatastha of Uttama Bhakti? First of all, you have to discuss, are these examples of Uttama Bhakti or not? Right? You have questions at the bottom there. So you have to decide if these are Uttama Bhakti or not. And then you have to tell us why. And if it is Uttama Bhakti, tell us about what is the Swarupa. All right, let's hear some of the answers. Prabhu, you could begin. What's your question? Read out the question, one question at a time.
So the first example we have is a Sankirtan devotee regularly cleans his vehicle at a car wash because he considers the vehicle Krishna's property.
There you go. There you go. This is great answer.
And then we decided that this was a cure for Swarupa Laksana because this falls, the car falls, he considers the car to fall under the category of Krishna's property or Krishna's paraphernalia. So we consider that to be cure to those questions.
Okay, everybody agree? Did you hear the question? You agree?
Anyone not agree?
Wash the car, take care of the car, it's Krishna's property. Okay, good. Next one.
Next one is
This accidental give donation for seva puja to the lady, and this comes under the collection because when they guest we don't know what is this. They give for love of Krishna. It comes under the singing activity.
Yeah. We don't know. It's just a guess. It's just like we said, somebody comes in, puts some money in the box, they go outside. We never think of Krishna again. That's it. So, material like food.
the third example was a devotee keeps a picture of Nrsimhadev on his altar because he can remove the obstacles in devotional service. We kind of discussed this a little bit. We weren't so sure, but we concluded that this falls under pure because Krishna is various expansions, and also this is to benefit his service to the world. So we thought that was good.
Brahmachari attends Mangala every day because he wants to maintain his position on the temple.
He wants to maintain his position on temple council. He comes to Aki every day. Is that good devotion? No. Okay.
The first case study is a devotee makes life members because he can give 10% of his collection for his own use. That is not a pure devotion service. He is having other desires. Krishna's.
Yeah. Some devotees like that, they sometimes even people come to the temple and they have a table there, somebody's sitting at the table and they're taking donations, and somebody comes and gives them a donation, gives a lakh or something, and they take it and they get 10%. it's not very good. It's not good devotion. In Prabhupada's time, there were no salaries, no devotion.
Is that happening in 1 mile?
Well, sometimes it was happening. It's not happening so much. Well, now it was not happening with a lockdown. But it was happening for a while. I think it stopped now. I think it stopped now. Because people got irritated by it and thought they were just good. Okay? Next one.
And whereas the devotee works in an office to maintain his family, who are all Vaishnavas. So here it is a pure devotional service because he has no personal motivation not to acquire wealth, but only to maintain Vaishnavas because they are Krishna's pure devotee. Swarupa.
Yeah, you maintain the family. You maintain the family. The family, maybe the family are not devotees. So they take the money and they, buy meat, alcohol, something. So that's not good. But if the family are devotees, then it's all right. Of course, if you're just only maintaining the family only, then, there should be something to go to Krishna, the temple. You should give something to Krishna. You shouldn't just only go for the family. Just only the family, everything for the family, nothing for Krishna. You say, well, my family's devotees. Yeah, they're devotees, but, there should be something for Krishna too. So, if they're giving 100% only for the family, and there's nothing goes to the temple, then it's not very good. It's kind of mixed devotion. Prabhupada talked about sometimes people, they retire to Vrindavan. They give all their money to the family. What did Rupa Goswami do with this money, remember? 50% to the devotees, yeah. And how much for the family? So nectar instruction also, when you do nectar instruction, you see also 50% given for, to go for service to Krishna, 50% for maintenance. If it's all going for family maintenance, it's not very pure devotion. You can't say that they're devotees. Yeah, they are devotees. But they should like to give to Krishna too. You agree? Maritis? Maritis, no response. Yeah? Okay, go ahead.
Next example is Grihastha devotee performs Garbhadan Sanskar in order to create Krishna conscious children.
Grihastha devotee performs Garbhadan Samskar in order to beget Krishna conscious children.
They have classified it into Uttama Bhakti because dressing is pure and it is regular.
Yeah, that's pure devotion. You want Krishna conscious children, right? You want to have a child? You want a child who's not a devotee? No, you want a child who's going to be a devotee, right? Should be a good devotee. You should think this child will not take birth again. This will be the last birth. So that's very good. It's the highest devotion.
Next is a devotee keeps the picture of goddess Kali on his altar because she can bestow wealth on her worshippers. So it is not Uttama Bhakti because there is desires and desires.
Well, you keep Goddess Kali's picture on your altar because she'll give you wealth. fulfill your material desires. What is Kali? You know Kali? Kali is Durga when she's angry. Very angry. So when she gets angry, she's called Kali. And the Bengali people will worship Kali a lot. So they worship for material desires. It's not true bhakti. So this?
First, a new devotee wants to take initiation from a pure Vaishnava guru who has many disciples in his own, because he will get better facility after initiation. He is not about because he wants
A person wants to take initiation from this guru because this guru has many disciples in the zone. And if he takes initiation from him, then
he will get better facility after
you
initiation.
get better facilities. Maybe you get made a manager. If you're not initiated by that guru, you can't be in the manager position. You have to be this guru's disciple. So I should take initiation from this person, then I can get better position. Is that pure devotion? No. If you're thinking I will get,
Second, a full-time temple pujari accepts financial maintenance from the temple for his grihastha maintenance. We were in doubt, but I think that because it's full-time, then is
a full-time devotee accepts maintenance from the temple
to his grihastha
to
maintenance.
maintain his grihastha ashram. So he does pujari work in the temple and he gets a salary to maintain himself. So you should understand that your service in the temple, you don't get a lot of money. You're not going to become rich. Right? Anybody who does service in the temple, you're not going to become rich. You don't get much money. You will get minimum amount. Basic, right? Basic, enough to live, just to maintain your life. But you won't be rich. So, is that pure devotion?
Yes.
No?
Yes.
I think so, yeah. And because they just simply, they could go and make more money in another job if they wanted. But they want to do the service for Krishna. They're worshipping the deity, they're doing valuable service. They have a family, they have to maintain the family, temple has to recognize their need, and you have to pay them something. That's all. But they're not going to be rich. They're doing valuable service for the country. Okay? Yeah?
A devotee daily cooks offerings of boga for the deity in the temple and often burns preparations. It's not from Bhakti.
Devotee is cooking for every day in the temple and often burns the preparations. So?
Sorry, I just wanted to put, I can also argue that, maybe he's just a really bad cook. He's just so absorbed in Krishna and everything. That example where, somebody was peeling banana peels and giving Krishna the banana peel, and Krishna ate it because he was so in love with Krishna, and he threw away the banana.
But that was just one time, not every time. We were here regularly burning the offering. Right? Every day burning offering. What kind of, if you, Prabhupada said cooking is practice, and practice makes perfect. So you keep cooking every day, you get better. And you're doing it with devotion. In the beginning, maybe a little difficulty, but gradually you get better and you're careful that not to burn. So definitely not pure devotion.
And I think that is like some personal mentality.
So never
personal relation with the deity. So
Yes.
we don't care.
We don't care. Carelessness, no good consciousness. So sometimes sometimes you put maybe something happens and you wonder, but every time that's something that, yeah.
Grihastha devotee regularly makes that the feet of Vaishnavas visiting his home. We cannot
A
know.
Grihastha devotee regularly washes the feet of Vaishnava devotees who come to his home.
We cannot know whether it is cured consciousness or not, because we cannot know what is your motivation. For example, he can just because he has many personal desires.
Yeah, it's a little difficult to understand because you don't know what he does with the water. I don't want to put motive in washing the feet. Feet are all dirty. I don't want the dirty feet in my house. A little difficult to analyze this one.
Yes, because it's regularly, but we cannot know what is the motivation.
Yeah, you don't know what the motivation is. If it's out of genuine love and respect, then that's okay, it's good. It's a culture in South India, Bangladesh. You go to Bangladesh, I've never been, but I have been to everywhere. The Bengali people, the Hindu people in Bengal, they will wash your feet. They have that culture. South India also, they wash your feet. And they read in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Lord Chaitanya would come, people would come, they wash his feet. And it's even told one time, one devotee washed the feet and then he drank all the water. He drank all the water, Lord Chaitanya said, take him off. Spit it out with his feet. Lord Chaitanya can't do that. Because it, poured the water on Lord Chaitanya's feet, then he took the water and drank it. And Lord Chaitanya, in the temple, the Lord Chaitanya didn't like that. I mean, Lord Chaitanya was pleased, but at the same time, he said, this is not what we want. We don't want to intense that. And we have the rule nowadays in ISKCON, we don't allow people to wash their feet. Initially. It's not common. It's not encouraged because sometimes, people fall down. But it's a culture. It's the culture. You can't stop the culture. And some places you go, they'll come, they'll just, you're walking in the ground and they will just pour the water over your feet. Like that. It's not like that. The problem is if you sit and have the bathing set, then that should be a very, very pure devotee. To sit and have the feet bathed, right, you sit down in the chair and then it comes a bucket of water and bathe your feet and put the towel inside your feet. That's a little bit, that's for the very big devotee. But sometimes they'll throw the water on the feet. In Malaysia, when you have Rath Yatra, the road is very hot, so people are walking barefoot, so they throw the water on the ground, pull the ground, take the heat out of the ground, makes it easier for walking. When you go on parikrama also in Navadvip, sometimes you come and they will throw water out on the ground, pull the ground, to keep the dust down. All right, let's hear the ladies. What have you got? Wants to get the boon of getting a son. Oh, devotee fasts on Ekadasi because he wants to get a son. So, what do you say? Is that pure devotion? Hey, is that pure devotion?
It's not.
What's going on?
He has his own desire. It's not
No.
not as a concentration.
All right. Next one.
Though he connects donations and regularly performs festivals to the Lord in his temple at home. This is talking about
What's the difference? What is speech and saying?
Yes, he's really for Krishna, so it's
What's he doing?
the devotee collects donations and regularly performs festivals for the Lord in his temple at home.
Ah, in his temple at home. Well, I have my doubts about this, kind of thing. He collects donations from other people for his temple at home.
As he was a so maybe
Huh?
for the Lord.
Yes, but it's his home.
He regularly performs festivals, not just puja.
Yeah, how regularly? Well, he collects donations regularly. Or performs the festival occasion.
Oh, the lady regularly performs festivals.
I'm putting my own words in there. And there are some difficulties with this. I have my doubts that it's pure devotion. First of all, because it's his house. Now, if it's his house, he should use his own money. Why he has to come to other people to get money to do it? This is some problem. What do you think? What do you say? A devotee collects money, collects donations for occasionally, somewhat, regularly. What is it? Huh?
Yes, regularly performs.
Regularly performs festivals in his own home, in the temple in his home. And who comes to his home? How many people does he invite? It's not exactly so pure.
The devotee regularly performs yoga to keep himself fit for preaching Krishna consciousness.
The devotee does yoga asanas, keep himself fit to preach Krishna consciousness. I don't think it's Uttama Bhakti. I don't know. Yeah, I mean,
Can it be like unbelievable if devotees are
you have to consider how much time does he spend and how often does he do this yoga. Like some people, they can do like 3 hours a day yoga asanas, and how much how much time do they spend preaching Krishna consciousness? Oh, I do my yoga to keep myself fit for Krishna consciousness. And how much time do they spend Krishna consciousness and how much time do they spend doing yoga? So you have to compare, you have to see, Is it a little while, half an hour, 20 minutes or something yoga, and 8 hours a day preaching Krishna consciousness, or 10 hours of Krishna consciousness? But it might not be. It might be, 2 hours yoga and 2 hours Krishna consciousness. That's not very good. You have to consider.
And ISKCON Guru travels to the Middle East for preaching because Indian people there can donate more money than people in India. And ISKCON Guru travels to the Middle East for preaching because Indian people there can donate more money than people in India.
What do you say? Is that pure bhakti? We go to the Middle East, they have more money there. We give more money than in India. What do you think? What do you think?
It's also required because they have money, so they
It's founders, so we have to.
It's from the ambition for preaching. It's for preaching. It's
Huh?
mention for preaching, not as here for preaching.
No,
For
the
preaching.
travel is for preaching, but
Yeah, for preaching. To be a preacher.
It's a strategy. It's a good
Well,
strategy.
certainly, it's true, you do get more money there. You have a project, people have a project, they go there, like actually name different temples where they got the funds from the Middle East. You know, not only India, Bangladesh also, they got the funds from other places. Building temples in Bangladesh, and not much money in Bangladesh, you get the money from other places. In South India, we got the money from other places. And they're putting, ultimately putting a lot of money into the politics also. So, certainly you don't want to neglect them. You know, they're giving money, you don't want to neglect them. But it's not like to put all your energy in there. You know? You have to, again, there has to be some balance. You don't just think, oh, I only preach in the Middle East. India, oh, forget it. They're too poor, well, I'm going to preach in the East. No, preach everywhere. You can go everywhere for preaching. Go to India, if they're having a project here in India, and they raise the funds there, and go to the Middle East also, many of the people who give them, they're from these places where they donate to. Just like in there's many Bengalis there, and they give the money for Bangladesh. And there's many South Indians, and they give the money for the South Indian temple. And they hear the temple coming up in their part of the world, in their part of the country. They like to give, they're happy to give. So, but if you just go there, you don't have any project, just go there and get money, it's not very good. Not very good. But it's preaching. There are preaching. But again, you have to be touched how much time you spend there. You wouldn't put all your time there. Because there's much more people here. There's much people are all working there, they're busy, they don't have a lot of time. All working people. But they preach everywhere. They go everywhere. We know many devotees, people in Mayapur who have come here from the Middle East. And they've retired here in Mayapur. And they're doing service here, working here. And they became devotees in the Middle East. And many times actually we find people when you go out of India, it's easier for them to become devotees. They say, when I'm in India, it's very hard to be a devotee. They say, when I'm at home in India with family, relatives, and so many things, it's very difficult to go to, you go to a temple in India, with so many people, but Middle East is not, there's not so many people. It's less of, it's more friendly. You can make friends easier. You come to temple in India, so many people, there's struggling. It's a bit difficult. People don't get the same work, but you go to the Middle East and they're away from the country, so they miss the culture, they feel the separation, and then they hear the temple that they're having programs and they get interested. So many people became very good devotees in the Middle East, outside of India. It's more difficult to get up to be devoted here in India somehow. It's more difficult sometimes. Too many things going on, too difficult to travel. Middle East, it's a bit easier to travel, everybody has cars, they move around, you don't have to go so far. Traffic is not so difficult. So like that. Okay, understand? So pure devotion, mixed devotion, some difficulties here. Uttama Bhakti, case studies. Actually, Krishna consciousness can be based simply on hearing, chanting, remembering, etc. Described in Srimad Bhagavatam are 9 different processes, beside which everything else is unfavorable to Krishna consciousness. Thus one should always be guarding against fall downs. So everything else, other than hearing, what else? Remembering, worshipping the lotus feet, or worshipping Krishna, worshipping the deity. Yeah? Then? That's the very end. Offering prayers, right? Offering prayers, worshipping, serving, becoming the friend, and surrendering everything. Okay. So that's pure devotion, any of these 9 times. So we covered today the objective of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu with reference to Vrindavan Krishna. Right? We said Krishna is the objective of the nectar of devotion, to highlight Krishna as Vrindavan Krishna, Krishna full of ras, all the different mellows, different rasas are all there in Krishna. And we saw the overview, the different sections of the ocean. Remember the 4 parts, north, south, east and west. And we're looking at the Purva Vibhaga, which is the northern section, the first part. And we're going through that. Then we explained about the definition of pure devotion. We talked about Swarupa, which is essential characteristics, and Tatastha Lakshana, which are marginal characteristics. And we've been seeing with these exercises some examples of pure and mixed devotional service. Here's a final quote from Srila Prabhupada. To achieve success in self-realization or God-realization, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu recommends Stane Stita. You just remain in your present position. You remain a grihastha or a brahmachari or a sannyasi or as a businessman, professional man. It doesn't matter. But Shruti Gatam Tanvan Manobi, just try to hear about Krishna. Shruti Gatam, oral reception. Shruti Gatam means oral reception. Tanuvan Manobi, and try to employ your body, words and mana, mind, engaged in Krishna's service. So Prabhupada is quoting a famous verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, describing a perfectional stage of pure devotion. When Lord Chaitanya met with Ramananda Roy, he asked Ramananda Roy to give verses from the scripture about devotional service. And Ramananda Roy came with different verses from Bhagavad Gita and other scriptures. Then finally he came to this verse, and Lord Chaitanya said, yes, this is what we want. He said, this is pure devotion. Stane stita, you stay in whatever position you are in. Doesn't matter what position you are. It doesn't matter whether you're a Kibavipra, Kibanasi, Sudra, Keni, Naya. Doesn't matter what is your position. Men, women, children, anybody. Just stay in your position, hear about Krishna. And in this way, you can conquer Krishna. Although Krishna is unconquerable, he becomes conquered by the love of his devotees. So Prabhupada is quoting this verse. This is what we want to encourage. So this Krishna consciousness movement is to give chance to everyone to hear about Krishna. This is the first process, Shravana. And when one has heard very nicely about Krishna, then they can chant, they can speak about Krishna. And he must speak. You cannot remain without speaking. That is the result of Shravanam. Shravanam Kirtanam. One who has heard nicely, he must speak or preach. Right? Have you all heard nicely? You're all going to preach?
Yes.
Very good. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Yeah.
All right. Any questions? Yes, Prabhu?
As you told regarding the example of Bhakti, how he called Paris protection. So he told that it was not pure honestly.
Huh?
The example of Gajendra,
Gajendra? Yeah?
he told how he called Paris protection.
For protection.
So it was not pure honestly.
Yes.
But what in case of Draupadi when she called for protection? How can we categorize?
Yes. Draupadi, she also chanted the name of Krishna. Well, how do we categorize it? Is it pure devotion or not? Certainly she chanted the holy name of Krishna. Krishna came. He protected her chastity. You have to consider what was her consciousness. Was she thinking just about herself, her own chastity? Or she's thinking not so much about her own situation, but about what people are doing, the sin, the degraded activity which they were performing. So, you see, this pastime with Draupadi, this was arranged to show the greatness of Draupadi, to show her glory, that she was totally dependent on Krishna. She was in that situation. Her husbands were there, but they couldn't do anything to help her. And she just went to Krishna. And she called to Krishna to come. So it was an act of pure devotion. Gajendra's situation, he was in the distress. He was in great distress. Draupadi, was she in distress? Well, her chastity was important to her. That chastity is a very valuable thing to a woman, to a cultured woman. They will value their chastity. So she wanted to preserve that. So it was quite a different situation, Gajendra. But Prabhupada does say that Gajendra and Dhruva, they are examples of mixed devotees, right? Because they had some material desire. Chaturveda bhajanti mam jnana sikritino arjuna. Arto jignasa artati jnani champaradarsha. 4 kinds of people surrender to Krishna. So they're pious, but they come with some desire. They had some desire. So the desire of Gajendra was self-preservation, to save himself. Due to his distress, he called out to the Lord. Due to his distress, somehow he was given remembrance of the mantra he'd learned from his previous life. So that saved him. Yeah, it's an interesting discussion, how would we compare that? Generally we say Gajendra is a mixed devotee. When the Lord came, then he became, and he regretted, he regretted that the Lord came and killed the crocodile. He said, you liberated that crocodile by killing him. He said, but I'm still in the elephant body. You should have killed me. It would have been better you killed me than you killed him. But we could say, well, the crocodile got liberated because he had the feet of the pure devotee. He was holding on to the feet of Gajendra. You get the feet of the devotee. So the crocodile got the mercy. But Gajendra said, I'm tired of this elephant body. I want to get freedom. And similarly, Dhruva Maharaj said that now I don't want anything. But the Lord said, you wanted it. Now you have to take it. Right? Dhruva Maharaj is saying, I'm fully satisfied. Swaming kritartosmi varam nayachi. Right? I'm fully satisfied. I've seen you. I'm fully. But the Lord, you go to Dhruva Loka. You rule there. So he didn't get liberation. So his devotion was not like Prahlad's devotion, right? It's a difference. You can see Gajendra and Dhruva Maharaj, they have devotion, but it's mixed with their own desire. So Draupadi, how to view Draupadi? I don't know. Interesting. Think about it. She's certainly a very chaste lady. Preserved her chastity. Okay, so we will stop. Thank you. Hare Krishna. So tomorrow we're going on to chapter 1. Will you please look over the book? Look over the